card machine companies want you to skip this video. Do you want to
The smell of freshly cut grass. The clean, crisp air of the seaside. Summer is here, so make sure you can enjoy it in all its aromatic glory. You can now get an air conditioning refresh, summer health check, and wash and vacuum for your BMW for just $49.99. Book online or visit your preferred retailer. Participating BMW retailers only. Health check contents may vary, subject to availability. Offer ends 30th of September 2019.
Knock-on effect of all this to commercial banks in Europe. I mean, Lisa and I are looking around the world for that, not black swan, I don't want to go Taleb on you, but that thing, that catalyst that moves things. How close are we to where those all links into the European financial system?
Well, certainly, if you look at the European yield curve and you also look at the level of interest rates, you are getting a real squeeze in terms of bank margins. They're making up for that by sort of trying to hold up fee income at a retail level. That's going to get squeezed in the next year or two. It's not necessarily going to be fatal and systemic for the system as a whole.
Yeah.
What you should be more worried about in Europe is if we get an Italian government that wants a direct conflict with the Eurozone and produces a 3% budget-busting deficit. That would be the real concern.
Mike Gallagher, thank you so much. And again, over to fiscal policy there, and we've seen the fiscal expansion in the United States. Futures negative 40, we bounced to negative 36 right now. Deutsche Bank with a little bit of a bounce as well. 30-year bond 203. So I'm going to say a little bounce there. Lisa, this is something we could go 8 ways here, like the We Company, and it's the Macy Company. I mean, I think they went under the day they took the wooden escalators out of the main store at Herald Square.
You like those?
I love them. Negative 73%. From the peak of Macy's, $70 a share in 15, and they're now down at 16. I haven't done the math down to $16 a share, but that's an ugly second quarter in view forward.
We're talking about Macy's earnings just dropping across the Bloomberg, and second quarter adjusted earnings per share missed estimates, and they cut their adjusted full year view. Shares plunging 13% ahead of the open, and that comes on top of the 33% loss year to date until today of the company's shares. A key question here, department stores front and center with the question, how much deeper can the pain go? Is it an Amazonification of the shopping experience, or is this something more endemic? They did not invest enough in the right things. They have too many stores in the wrong places, and malls just are dying.
And the dynamics of this is fascinating. Folks, I actually do this. I go to Herald Square. I'm there like once a year, and you stand and you watch what goes on at Macy's. And it's, it's historic. It's a hugely important part of New York, but it's sort of like a social thing, not a retail thing. You go there, you hang out, and then you actually go buy something someplace else.
Well, and the question is, can they make it a fun enough place to hang out while also having...
Come on, Tiffany says exactly the same thing. Is shopping about fun, or do you want to just get the item and go?
No, look, if you want the item, go in, buy it, get it. Why not do it online? Why go to the actual store?
I agree.
If you're going to end up going to the physical store, get a manicure, a blowout, have a drink with your friends, sample foods.
Is this a girl show, Michael?
No, I mean, like that's the playbook
Maybe we should
right
do
now.
this called a blowout after the show today, Michael.
You guys are too New York highfalutin. I'm at the jewelry case at Walmart. That's my stuff.
No, but that's the point. That's
the
brilliantly
point.
said.
This is actually exactly it. So who are they catering to? And I think that this is the question. And there's a sort of what is the playbook for brick and mortar retail right now? It's not dead because you've got Amazon opening up brick and mortar, but it's not just go and buy something and leave. It's got to be an experience.
I mean, here's a headline, and I say this with immense respect for the tenure of Terry Lundgren at Macy's trying to corral this giant retailer. Macy's sees fiscal year sales about 0%, saw about 0%. I mean, that's a tough way to do it. Stock down 12% from a 19-ish down to 16-ish right now. What do you have, Ms. Abramowitz?
Yeah, so just to give you some more details, they say that rising inventory levels became a challenge. They cited a fashion miss in our key
Any
women's
talk about
sportswear private brands, slow sell-through of warm weather apparel. So they're blaming the weather. Yes, that's what typically happens.
I'm shocked.
Because it's too warm or too cold.
Did they say anything about omni-channel?
I'm looking. No community adjusted.
Maybe they ought to sell the real estate to the We Company and they can lease it back. This is Bloomberg.
Let's get a check on what's happening outside the business world. Michael Barr here. Michael.
Oh, love the passion. New report out about the guards who were supposed to be watching accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. They fell asleep and did not make some of the required checks the night he died by apparent suicide. The New York Times reports the two staffers who were guarding the unit the night of Epstein's death failed to check on him for about 3 hours and then falsified records to cover up their mistake. Those guards now are on leave, and the warden of the Metropolitan Correctional Center has been reassigned. Hong Kong's airport has reopened after days of violent clashes between thousands of pro-democracy protesters and police. Hundreds of flights were canceled Monday and Tuesday. Global news 24 hours a day on air and at TikTok, on Twitter. Powered by more than 2,700 journalists and analysts, more than 120 countries. I'm Michael Barr. This is Bloomberg Time.
I love the passion, Michael Barr. Mariners 11, Tigers 6. Discuss.
Yeah, that's back at the Walmart jewelry case.
They're hiding out on the West Coast is what they're doing. Michael Barr giving us wonderful coverage worldwide. Bloomberg News. Futures deteriorate, negative 44. Stay with us. This is Bloomberg.
What would you say about the firm that supports your advisory practice?
I love that I can call in and get expert advice.
I love that you answer the phone and that I'm not a number.
I love the sense of community.
The culture is great and I love the service.
Real quotes from real advisors. In fact, advisors are head over heels about Commonwealth Financial Network. And it shows. J.D. Power has named us highest in independent advisor satisfaction among financial investment firms 5 times in a row. Why so smitten? Maybe because we've been putting relationships first since 1979, starting with our accountability to you and your clients alone. The consistent investments we make to ensure that you have every possible tool, support, and competitive advantage. And the fact that you can trust us to have your back through both good and challenging times. Visit Commonwealth.com and find out what it feels like to be swept off your feet. Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor, broker-dealer. For J.D. Power 2018 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
After graduating from NJIT, Maria Kuzam joined pharmaceutical giant Merck & Company. As a chemical engineer, she's part of Merck's Global Engineering Solutions and leads worldwide communications for the Merck Women's Network. She also helps the company recruit new talent from top universities like NJIT.
I think NJIT graduates, they really come in and hit the ground running, right? They know how to problem solve. They've been prepared for it. They know how to work individually as well as in teams. They have that kind of flexibility to work both ways. And that's exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for someone that is able to do both, is able to do the individual work, but also work across teams and communicate effectively. And I think NJIT is definitely helping us with providing some of that key talent pool, and having that leadership capability is invaluable.
NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology. Learn more at storiesofinnovation.njit.edu.
There are certain things in life we simply don't talk about. And hemorrhoids are, right up there, so to speak. But we should, because there's 8 million people in the UK right now suffering with piles. If you're one of them like I was, you should speak to Xroid. They're the Harley Street specialists in hemorrhoid treatment. It's a new, fast, gentle, safe and effective procedure for hemorrhoids, with no downtime, and the procedure takes just 30 minutes or less. Consultation and treatment starts from $9.95. Xroid, be kind to your behind. For free advice on hemorrhoids, text KIND to 81156.
Silence the squawk. Find brand new cars ready to drive away today with AutoTrader.
Mr. Davies, to start your car insurance policy, you'll have to pay upfront £850 for the year in one single payment. How does that sound? £850.
Yes, Mr. Davis.
In one go.
Yes, Mr. Davis.
Today.
Yes, Mr. Davis.
In one single payment.
Yes, Mr. Davis.
What?
With new Aviva Plus, we won't ask you to pay everything up front. Everyone pays monthly at no extra cost. New Aviva Plus, car insurance the way it should be. Excludes Northern Ireland.
The sun gently fell below the horizon. Rays of pure gold filled the sky, illuminating the towering structures of the London skyline. What else could Jane do but gaze in awe? She was but a silhouette upon a hill, wrapped up in a spectacle so perfect, no words, oil paintings, or smartphone filters could do it justice. She savoured it. Before hopping back on her bike and riding off, she had to finish her commute home. Walk, cycle, discover. To the Mayor of London and TfL, every journey matters.
Influential conversations from Bloomberg Television. Here's Sherry Ann.
The semiconductor industry has been embroiled in the trade war, and our next guest says most companies are already reshaping their supply chains. Joining us now is Bain & Company VP Jerry Matthews. Jerry, great to have you with us. So, given the ongoing trade tensions between the U.S. and China, not to mention the tensions between Japan and South Korea, does this mean that we could continue to see more homegrown supplier ecosystems come out of this?
That's a great question. In fact, what we're seeing is we're entering a new stage of development for supply chains, not only in the semiconductor industry, but also in the broader industry spectrum. Supply chains tend to get shorter. Companies are trying to bring their ecosystem of suppliers closer to the markets where they're producing, by that way to be able to take risk away, make them more resilient, but also more flexible. Also, with the trade war and the trade dispute, most likely to prolong well into 2020 or even 2021, which is also backed by a survey we did in early July. Having shorter supply chains, more flexible, and also upgrading supply chains to the board level for conversations at the board level, CEO for decision making and quick decision making will be very important. So that is already starting to happen in many industries.
Hear more interviews like this one on Bloomberg Television, streaming live on Bloomberg.com and on the Bloomberg mobile app, or check your local cable listings. Markets, headlines, and breaking news 24 hours a day at Bloomberg.com, the Bloomberg Business app, and at TikTok on Twitter. This is a Bloomberg Business Flash.
And 8:17 on Wall Street, I'm John Tucker. Right now, let's head over to the First Word breaking news desk for today's morning call. And here's Bill Maloney.
Hey, good morning, John. U.S. futures continue to drop amid a plunge in yields. Dow futures now down 392 points. S&P's dropped 42, and NASDAQ futures declined by 126. The U.S. 10-year yield drops to 1.59%. Gold is higher by 14, while European markets are also under pressure, led by 2% losses in Germany and Italy. Back in the U.S. on the economic front at 8:30, the import price index. After the bell last night, Myriad Genetics missed estimates. Shares are down 30% in the pre-market. And regarding earnings this morning, Macy's is dropping 13% in the pre-market after its numbers. In deal news, Presidio to be acquired by BC Partners for $16 a share in cash. And in other news, WeWork filed for an IPO. Wrapping things up, Ferrari was upgraded to buy at Goldman Sachs, Myriad Genetics downgraded to neutral at Piper, and CBS was upgraded to buy over at Bank of America. Live from the First Breaking News Desk, I'm Bill Maloney. John?
All right, thanks, Bill. The 10-year yield below the 2-year yield in the U.S. for the first time since 2007, signaling a possibility of recession ahead for bond investors. The long bond 30-year yield 2.03% right now. That is a record low for the 30-year. And focus on fixed income being brought to you by PIMCO for investors who demand more than the markets deliver. All investments contain risk. They may lose value. Consult your investment professional before investing. And that's your Bloomberg Data Check, your Bloomberg Business Flash. Tom and Lisa.
Very good. Thank you so much. Great charts out on Twitter by Lisa Abramowitz. Follow her at official Lisa Abramowitz out on Twitter. I love saying that.
Yeah, the real Lisa Abramowitz.
We're trying to get folks the charts we see on the terminal out because we do understand it's truly an historic day. You know, we're having fun here. It's August Wednesday, but you know what, folks? For some people, this isn't funny. I mean, this is the employees of Deutsche Bank, 6.13 euros per share. Commerce Bank down at a record low. That
Macy's.
Macy's and retail, that FT cover of 2 days ago, 30,000 bodies on Wall Street. We're having fun, but at the same time, folks, it's an historic moment. Lisa, why don't you bring in Ms. Calvasina, who I think was medicated to get through this morning with futures negative 44.
Lori Calvasina, I'm so glad you're able to join us because really the key question this morning is, are U.S. equities too sanguine about the backdrop here? Lori Calvasina is head of U.S. equity strategy at RBC Capital Markets. So, Lori, are you expecting equities to turn a little bit lower here?
Hi, Lisa. Hi, Tom. Thanks for having me on. Lisa, I think the answer to your question is yes. We really do feel like we're kind of where we deserve to be at year end, but in the interim, we think there's more pain to come in the market. And I think, even if you just look back at how markets have traded off big recovery lows, sort of 2010, sort of back around the 9/11 lows, we do tend to have these periods of consolidation. So just at a minimum, we've been due for one of those. But I do think that yesterday's trading action was really puzzling. I don't think the announcement from the Trump administration on delaying some, and I stress some of these tariffs to December, I think it was maybe not quite much ado about nothing, but much ado about a little.
Well, Lori, that raises a really important question. Who's trading? Who's trading on these headlines?
It's not our clients. I mean, we heard actually that people, in particular on the retail stocks, were a little bit better to sell into the end of yesterday. I do know that I talked to a lot of clients who are really just kind of pulling things in, going neutral on their sector bets, still trying to look for individual names that they like. But I do think there is just a tremendous amount of frustration on how to deal with these tweets.
Lori, let me cut to the chase, and Abramowitz demands that I do Fibonacci's today. From the president's announcement yesterday, let's call it the capitulation or the partial cave-in, whatever, we went on futures. This is SPX up a lot, and we've now brought in well over 80% of that. We've retraced 80% of that good news green on the screen yesterday. Lori, what is the significance if we break through the low seen yesterday at 5:27 a.m.?
I think it is very significant. I think the reason why we sort of had a nice pop and then didn't really do much yesterday is that there's not really that much to do on this news. I think what we've done is shore up earnings expectations a little bit for the second half of the year. But really the core issue with this trade war is how it is affecting business confidence, how that is affecting CapEx, how that is affecting hiring. Ultimately, if hiring is affected, that will affect the consumer regardless of what's going on with these tariffs. And business confidence, nothing was done yesterday to fix it.
Well, give us an update. I mean, I know you're not on speaking terms with Tom Purcelli, but what is your run rate GDP that you're working with as an equity strategist?
So what we did is we actually, for our 2020 earnings growth expectation, we decided to be very conservative, and we plugged in 1.8% in real terms. And that's basically, if you pull it up on the Bloomberg terminal, that's basically where the sell side consensus is for next year's GDP. So we're factoring in a sluggish earnings or sluggish growth environment. It's a sluggish revenue backdrop for earnings. Now, the significance of that is, number one, it brings in our 2020 earnings growth assumption to about 5%. That's about half of what the sell side bottom-up consensus is anticipating. Street numbers are running at 10% on earnings growth. We think they need to be cut in half if that GDP number is right. The other thing you have to consider is that sluggish GDP in something like slightly below 2%. It is historically a very consistent trouble spot for equity markets. About 2/3 of the time, markets have been flat or down if you've had GDP in that 1% to 2% type range.
Lori Calvasina.
Lori, thank you so much.
So good. She's so good.
Really good. I mean, a really good update. I just got in a photo of Pharaoh on some lake in the Italian Alps, and he's styling Lindbergh sunglasses. Do you know what they cost?
What do they cost?
I don't even know. They're zeros.
The question is, did he buy them with an experience where they blew out his hair And gave him a manicure?
They did not blow out his hair. I mean, I'm sorry. They didn't do that. But anyways, good to see that John Farrell's alive over in the continent of Europe. We're live here with more data checks for you. Futures negative 44, Dow futures at negative 400. The VIX well over 20 now, 20.46. The yield bounces. We got a little bit higher yield on 30-year. We were on a 199 watch. We didn't get there, Lisa, did we?
No, although I will say this, that the NASDAQ futures, the losses are deepening here. So down 1.7% ahead of the U.S. Open as concerns about recession loom over all markets.
Now, speaking of gloom, a gloomy Don Henley song for the challenges of Wall Street.
Dressed all in black, went down to the station, and he never came back.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. The stream of investors seeking refuge in the safest part of the market has triggered yet another recession warning, with yield curves inverting from the U.S. to the U.K. The gap between 2- and 10-year yields dropped below zero on both sides of the Atlantic after a wave of soft economic data globally. And the Fed Bank of New York's index is showing the probability of a U.S. recession over the next 12 months is close to its highest level since the global financial crisis at around 31%. S&P futures down 37, NASDAQ futures down 105, Dow futures down 345 points. Crude oil is down 3% at $55.40 a barrel. Shares of Macy's are falling before the opening bell, headed for their lowest open since 2010 after the department store chain cut its adjusted earnings per share view for the year and missed earnings estimates in the second quarter. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
Why do hedge funds and other alternative managers rely on Pershing? Mark Alderati, a managing director at BNY Mellon's Pershing and head of Prime Services, explains.
In today's environment of market volatility, Pershing's Prime Services is well positioned to support the needs of hedge funds and other alternative investment managers. Whether it's customized financing or securities lending solutions, platform access, or business expansion, BNY Mellon's Pershing is a prime broker who's committed to this business and agile enough to meet your evolving demands. Pershing helps to solve the needs of clients by advocating for them, providing unwavering strength, deep supply, and award-winning service that is at the core of everything we do. Find out what sets Pershing's prime brokerage team apart.
Learn more about the unique and industry-leading solutions for hedge funds and other alternative managers offered by BNY Mellon's Pershing. Visit our website at Pershing.com. Pershing LLC, member FINRA, NYSE, SIPC.
Hiya, it's me, Stacey Solomon. Me and my boys have just been to Butlins and had the best time ever. It kept us all super busy day and night. So much is included in the price too. Top shows like Diversity and Stephen Mulhern and loads of fun activities, fairground rides and an amazing pool. It is such a bargain and I do love a bargain. We even met Paddington. Bless his little cotton socks.
For an exciting family break to Butlins this school summer holiday, book online now. There's so much included in the price.
Everyone wants a smooth running home so that they can spend more time enjoying it. The British Gas app allows you to do just that, because with the touch of a finger, you could quickly pay your bill or book in a boiler service, leaving you more time to fire up the barbecue or just relax with a good book. Manage your home account and more all in one place. Download the British Gas app from the App Store or Google Play today.
Dad, I'm bored.
Why don't you help me hang the washing up?
This summer, Asda have loads of free activity ideas to keep the kids entertained, like a scavenger hunt. Using the leaves, sticks and other finds, create your own art or characters, upload a picture with the hashtag #AsdaTourDeFun, and you could win a pair of kids' passes, giving you exclusive offers to the UK's top attractions. Go discover your fun side with Asda. For more ideas and full T's and C's, search Asda Tour de Fun.
I'm Peter Jones. I've worked with many businesses. They're all different. So why be shoehorned into accounting software that treats all businesses the same? Sage Business Cloud is different. It fits your business's ever-changing needs, like preparing for Making Tax Digital. With Sage, you're good to go. Business is about making wise choices. It's about being Sage.
Be ready for Making Tax Digital. Sign up for a free MTD consultation at sage.com/MTD.
the squawk. Find brand new cars ready to drive away today with Auto Trader.
We've created unlimited data plans for your business because 1 minute you're the receptionist.
Hello, how can I help?
The logistics manager.
Oh, can't lift at your end. That's it now, to me.
The new business consultant.
Will do. I'll pop over and give you a quote.
And you've still got to make the tea. Your business doesn't have limits, so why should your data allowance? New unlimited data plans from Vodafone Business. The future is exciting. Ready?
Max download, upload speed apply to data. Coverage may vary. Terms at vodafone.co.uk/terms.
Broadcasting live from the Bloomberg Interactive Brokers Studio in New York. Bloomberg 1130 to Washington, D.C. Bloomberg 99.1 to Boston. Bloomberg 106.1 to San Francisco. Bloomberg 960 to the country. Sirius XM Channel 119 and around the globe. The Bloomberg Business app and BloombergRadio.com. This is Bloomberg Surveillance.
Good morning, everyone. Lisa Abramowitz and Tom Keene from the Bloomberg Interactive Broker Studios. Lisa goes all economics.
Yeah, indeed. We're getting some information on import and export prices. Economic indicators are brought to you by Commonwealth Financial Network, home to the industry's most satisfied advisors. Learn more about the firm that's been putting independent advisors and their clients first since 1979. Visit Commonwealth.com. Here's Vinny Del Giudice.
Okay, Lisa and Tom. Well, this report today, the import price index tamer than the consumer price index, up 0.2% in July, more than expected, but excluding petroleum, unchanged year over year. The import price index down 1.8%. So all in all, a number coming in a bit higher than forecast, but still nothing like we saw in the CPI yesterday. Again, the import price index up 0.2%, excluding petroleum, unchanged. Earlier, mortgage applications, it must be the low interest rates, up 21.7% last week. I'm Vinny Del Giudice, Bloomberg Radio. Let's go back to New York.
Vinny, thank you so much. One of the things that we can be assured is Diane Swank of the Midwest will be attendant on the Chicago White Sox, her Chicago White Sox, playing the dreaded New York Yankees in Iowa at a Field of Dreams redo that is scheduled here in a bit. That will be a measurement of the heartland of the nation. It's a heartland that by every report is flat on its back, off of tariffs, off of an agricultural slowdown, and we're thrilled that Ms. Swank joins us now. She is with Grant Thornton and provides huge value to Bloomberg Surveillance on Fed Day as well. Diane, your thoughts on linking this market turmoil to our listeners' economic lives?
Well, the best way to think about it is the consumer has been doing extremely well. Businesses, not as much. We've seen businesses act very cautiously and actually pull back on investment in response to the uncertainty we're seeing in terms of the turmoil in markets, and more importantly, the turmoil reflects uncertainty regarding trade policy. The two can't be sustained. Something's got to give. Either businesses come back and invest and start putting money into the future and placing a bet on the future, or the next shoe drop will be some payroll losses, which will, of course, affect the consumer on the other side.
A lot of people push back and they say the economic data out of the U.S. has been pretty good. What do you say to that?
It has been pretty good. That's the important thing. It's been pretty good, though, I think in a context we didn't expect. We got to where we got thinking we would do 2 rate hikes by now, and instead we're here with rate cuts and expecting more on the horizon. So that the trade war already took a toll, that we had to offset that headwind by no longer being able to raise rates because the economy was so strong, but having to do a 180 on that view and actually act on it from the Fed is very important. Another thing that's very important is looking at what happened on momentum in 2018. We thought we had a 3% economy. Actually, fourth quarter growth got revised down to 2.5%. Again, the effects of the uncertainty and the actual trade war taking a toll on the economy. So the economy is good.
Yeah.
That's the good news. But it's more fragile with a lot more fragilities in it and fault lines in it than we once believed.
So you give credence to the idea that the slowdown we're seeing is largely driven by trade wars.
Exactly. The uncertainty is a tax. We know that. Uncertainty is a tax in the economy. And seeing what we're seeing in business investment really is evidence of that, especially when we're expecting that business investment to pick up in the wake of tax cuts. Now, I didn't have as much faith in those tax cuts doing that, but the bottom line is a lot of people did. And my concern has always been on the trade war, so I have to admit, I'm biased. I was really worried about the compounding and snowballing effect of trade wars around the world.
Diane Swank, you are a great student of history of the Fed. Operation Twist, 1961. Mr. Volker's acclaimed 1979 Saturday Night Special, QE1, QE SWAT, QE3, Operation Twist 2011, and all. These are emergency actions